All right, well, welcome back to After the Shot, and today I'm going to take you to the Appalachian foothills and to some little streams actually fairly near my home. And I'm going to show you as well something that's called a miniature effect, or something that will kind of look like one at least. And we'll try and make something that looks pretty cool here. Nala has been upset because I have actually moved her blanket that was here for filming. So we'll see if she pops up. She may or may not, but we'll see where that takes us. So let me go ahead and show you the image here on the screen. And this is of this particular stream. And what I mean by a miniature, and we may accentuate this some, is I have actually selected on this particular lens a large aperture. And what that does, basically it means that less of the image or fewer parts of the image are going to be in focus than if I selected a smaller aperture, which gives me a deep depth of field and everything is in focus. So what I've done here is I've selected these rocks here in the foreground. We've kind of blurred out the background, and you can start to see there's definitely a differentiation between this part of the image and this. It definitely has a little bit of depth to it. I think we're trying to accentuate that a little bit today and make that happen. So one thing I see right off the bat, and this is, you know, old me here, can't hold a camera steady, it definitely is a little bit crooked. So let's go ahead and do some correction for that. All right, I think that one is pretty good. And then I'll do some cropping as well. My main focus of attention really is going to be right along here. Just follow the little hand here on the screen. And I want to kind of frame these trees in the background with the rocks on the sides. So that's what we're going to go ahead and do. So I'll go ahead and crop in here. All right. And the trick is going to be down here, how much of this rock we want to include, if any. So we'll kind of toy around with that a little bit here. Let's go ahead and start with that, I think. Okay. And then another thing too, I'm not really seeing this as a color image. It's a little bit too contrasty, and there's not a whole, this is like before the fall foliage started to set in. So I'm going to go ahead and do some black and white, I think. Okay, so that really kind of made the image a lot more moody and stuff like that. And then I want to go ahead and make this a little bit of a softer image. So I'm going to go ahead and actually bring my clarity slider down. And we've done this before, but it's kind of going to give you that. I know I keep using the word dreamy, but it's going to make it a little bit more mystical or something like that. And I think I'm going to adjust that crop ever so slightly. I think I'm a little bit too tight in there. Okay. And then let's do a couple little things here. I want to kind of accentuate this area down here a little bit more. So I'm going to go ahead and get a new adjustment brush, and we're going to do some edits a little bit to the background there. So let's see where that takes us. So I'm going to go ahead and say exposure. Bring it down about half a stop or so, that 0.5. Let's see where it takes us. I'm going to start right here in this particular area, and we'll just go along here with our brush. And we'll make that a little bit darker. And I think I need to catch some of this of the shoreline right here. Okay. In fact, let me try and even do a little bit more than that. Let's see. Okay, so I think that's getting somewhere. I may do a little bit of contrast as well. Okay. And let's see. I'm going to hold off on the trees there for a second, but I want to come down here as well. And again, it's isolating these rocks and making the image a little bit more three-dimensional. So let's go ahead and do that. Come down here like so, and just do a little bit of this down here. So we have to be careful to make it look natural and not something that's completely, you know, looks artificial or something like that. So let's see what we can do here. Okay, I think that's about as comfortable as I'm going to be. Again, I don't want like a solid line right here. That's my concern. So, okay. And I'm going to say about right there for now. And then I'm going to go ahead up here to the top, and we do a couple edits as well. Okay, we're going to go, you know what, I'm going to say even increase, maybe a little more contrast. And we'll go ahead and bring our brush up. Looks like our feather there is pretty good. So we'll come up here and just do a little bit of drawing. It's really, I'm thinking about kind of blowing out those highlights a little bit too, increase that contrast. This is where you kind of have to fiddle around with it just to see what you like. See if I can bring maybe some, there we go, maybe bring that clarity down there a little bit. Okay. I'm kind of starting to see liking where we're going here, and I think I want to go ahead and do with that post-crop vignette. And again, what that is where it darkens the corners of the image, makes it a little bit darker all the way around. So, okay. And I think we're really getting somewhere here. Let me go ahead and do a quick adjustment brush here in the over the rocks. That's the focus. And to be honest, I think this might be a pretty short video. We're not having to spend much time at all here. It didn't take much. So I'm going to go in here and just ever so slightly draw over these rocks. And let's see what kind of edits we can make here to make this really pop out for us. Maybe a little bit of clarity. And yeah, I can bring down those highlights a little. See how it's kind of blown out right there. There's a lot of white in this image, but I really want to make these rocks down here stand out quite a bit. Okay. Maybe not quite that much. Maybe about right there or so. Okay, so I think we've done a pretty good job here with the image, and I'll keep it up on the screen for a second. We've really isolated this particular area, these rocks right here, and we've made this area darker to make it stand out. Same deal here. We've darkened the corners, and we've made this kind of fade into the background a little bit more. I want to show you something. So I know I mentioned at the beginning is I selected a very large aperture on the camera, which made the background a little bit less blurry, more blurry, I should say. I want to go ahead and zoom into 100% and show you the differences in focus. This is f4, which is a fairly wide aperture, but certainly more modern lenses can go quite a bit more. And you can see how the background is blurred out, and obviously we have the rocks here in sharp focus. But I want to show you what this does down here, and I'm suspecting it's not going to work well. I just want to show you how important it is to really select that aperture. But I can go in here and actually blur this out, for example. Let's go ahead and zoom out. And you can see from this distance, it kind of looks okay, but as you zoom into it, it really looks like something artificial. So I would not recommend doing that and just blurring out the background there. I would recommend shooting it the way it is. Now, one thing I will mention, a lot of new phones like the iPhone, a lot of new Android phones have software built in that's designed to simulate the out of focus effects of lenses with a large aperture. Now, that may come to a point here soon in the software where maybe that sharpness slider will do wonders. We're not just, at the time we're recording this video, we're not quite there. So let me go ahead and do this. I'm going to go ahead and, as opposed to doing that white border, I'm going to go ahead and just save an after. I've got a before image saved, and we can kind of compare here. Let's go back to Adobe Bridge there. Okay, so this is where we started before. You know, an okay image, not a great one. And obviously we corrected the crookedness, we did some black and white. But with this, again, what we're doing, we're isolating those rocks, blurring out the background, and we've kind of just drawn our attention right there in the middle. So it's kind of a funky image. I like it quite a bit, and that's kind of what we do here in after the shot. There are some images that work great right out of the camera, and others that require a little bit of tweaking, and some are more than others. But this was actually a pretty quick edit. So I hope you enjoyed this very quick after the shot. Hopefully Nala will be back with us next time once she gets over the fact that I solar blanket. And I do appreciate you watching. Have a good one. Bye-bye.